Aren't you tired of spending countless hours trying to obtain a single blend? And back and forth and back and forth. This is hell. Well, you're lucky because I come here to deliver you from this burden. Because today I'm gonna show you how pro painters actually achieve good blends in matters of minutes. And we're gonna start with a grayscale because I wanna show you no matter the distance in layers, you got this. From the black base coat, I'm gonna start with a pale gray, then move on to the middle tone, like I'm using here French Blue from AK Interactive. But I will put in the description all the Citadel equivalents of this paint I'm using. And the final color is a very, very dark gray. Simple. If you want, you can also add on your red palette some whitish white, off-whitish white, and some black. Now, can you guess how long is it gonna take me to achieve this result? Not this. This result? I mean, without the colors? Guess in the comments. See if you get close to it. You're not gonna. Well, anyway, the first phase is gonna be the pale gray application. And I will start applying my first layer of pale gray on my power sword. And here, like for all my power swords, I will use parallel line to paint this pale gray into the base coat, which you want to avoid if you're painting non-metallic metal. Like I say in this video here, just a couple of layers will perfectly do. And let's move on to phase 2. But before starting this, I'm gonna tell you a little secret. Come closer. Come closer. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. If you want good blends fast, you need to start working on the edges of the transitions. But don't tell anybody. I'm gonna apply a layer of that middle tone gray in the edge between my pale gray and my black base coat. Here the color has to be slightly diluted, but still it does have to have that covering power that we want. And what we're gonna do right next to the application of this neutral gray is feather out the edges in the part of the pale gray, just in the part of the pale gray. We're gonna just leave it be in the black side. And here you need to be kind of fast because, you know, acrylics tend to go dry pretty fast. So you're gonna apply the color and quickly rinse your brush because definitely you don't want to put it in your mouth. That would be so gross, right? And with a clean brush, you feather out the edges of the pale gray. If in the feathering stage you have some trouble shooting, like chalkiness or stains or whatever, please let me know down below so I maybe can create a video where I go over these mistakes and, you know, troubleshooting and how to fix them. And you might as well subscribe because like 80% of you are not subscribed and you're watching my videos. So rinse it and dry it and feather out the edges as fast as possibly can. But like I said, just in the pale gray side. Leave that other edge there for now. We're gonna get to it later. And then we move on to phase 3. You have 2 ways of doing it. You can either reapply the same color but then feather out in the other direction, so where the black base coat sits, or you can just make your life easier and use the dark gray we picked before. Drinking game, the word gray? You can apply this dark gray between the edges of the neutral gray and the black base coat. And then feather it out in both directions. Of course, one part at a time. So apply it once, feather it, reapply it, and refeather it. Like I said before, when you do this, the paint has to be kind of diluted, but not as diluted that it doesn't cover. So don't worry about creating textures because you think you're using too many layers. You're not, if you're doing it correctly, of course. And since I'm a kind of a masochist, I tried this in different ways because I only want to give you the best quality content that I can give you. I would definitely suggest you go with this thing here that I'm showing. And finally, phase 4, cleanup. By now you should have a pretty good looking blend on your hand. But just keep in mind that these things just take a little bit of time and practice. And don't be like me and be too hard on yourself because you don't deserve it. Or maybe you do. Son of a... It's okay that you're not feeling 100% satisfied with what you're painting, but just give it time, okay? It's gonna take a little bit of time for you to be 100% satisfied with the technique you're practicing, especially if you don't lick your brush. Anyways, here I just did some reinforcements of the lights and also glazing a little bit of black in the shadow area, but this is not really necessary because, like I said, the pale gray is pretty light. It's mostly to give a little polished look for the video. But what I really want you to avoid, and the whole point of this video, is that you don't get stuck into this process of back and forth, because most of the times, the more you invest into getting the perfect transition, the more you're gonna fuck up. So don't get stuck. Don't be stubborn, just move on. With this technique, your blend is already good. Move the fuck on. Okay? And also Andy Warhol said that about his piece for Golden Demon. Sometimes the more you try to fix your blends, the worse they get. And like I said, the main aim of this technique is to avoid all this. On the other hand, you are free to do some like edge highlighting, dark lining. That's good. You want to know how long it actually took me with this amazing close-up of my face? Well, I don't really remember. But future Alice is editing, she's gonna know, and she's gonna put the time right above my beautiful face. After doing all this, I just tinted the swords with different contrast paints, and I call it done. Bloody brilliant. And please keep in mind that this principle, it's the exact same that you can use with colors. It's not just applied to the grayscale. So please try also with other colors. The only difference is that you're adding tone, you're adding color to that grayscale. That's it. Like I'm showing here on this Marvel United miniature, I just do the same thing. I work on the edges. The difference is just the color itself, and the luminosity and the value of the various layers are pretty much the same. Try it, and maybe subscribe if you love me.